Welcome everybody to Spirituality Adventures. This is a non-judgmental place to explore spirituality, and we're so glad you're here. This is a viewer and listener supported podcast, so we greatly appreciate your support. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, share, and subscribe to any of the social media content platforms that you're using. And then if you go to our website, spiritualityadventures.com, you can make a one-time donation, or with a monthly subscription, you'll gain access to our bonus content. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome everybody to Spirituality Adventures. We're glad you're tuned into this episode, and we're excited to have Alec with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Alec, tell us your last name and what you go by in the recording world as well.
Yeah, so government last name or just real last name?
Whichever.
Government last name, Sartain, and then my real last name is Sartianno. So that was original family name.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's your recording name? Or what do you go by in the
Smartalec? It's basically, if you Google it, Smartalec on the track or Subliminal Beats.
All right.
You'll find me.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're connected. I did an interview with Derrison Palea a few weeks ago, maybe, and I knew that you guys had worked together, and so
yeah. How'd you know that?
Well, he told me, and so. And so, names in the music.
Oh yeah, true. All right,
exactly.
All right.
Yeah, so I thought, and then we called and connected, and so I thought, man, this will be fun. Yeah. So, help our audience know a little bit about your story. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I can kind of around the area where I met Derrison. I was in just my neighborhood with friends, and I met a guy who was in like a hip hop kind of R&B type of group, and we went to a home studio, and it was Derrison who was doing the engineering at the time. I probably just turned 16 years old, so we're talking, man, probably 2007, 2008. Yeah. Prior to that, growing up, my grandfather played piano for a rock band in the late 50s, early 60s called Butch and the Boys. So they had one single come out of Hollywood, but their A&R, I guess, had passed away pretty early. So they got, shelved, and nobody ever really, So that was his claim to 10 seconds. But they had a lot of live shows around town, around the city. He lived in Arkansas for a while as well. So before moving back up here, then I was born, around the time 7, 8, 9 years old. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. So piano was, one of the main things that, I would do to, during the days, make the time go by.
Did you do lessons?
Yeah, well, my grandfather, he taught me how to play. So I wasn't on the piano, all day, every day. I had to stay on the move, but yeah, that was where it really started from. I've always been a huge music fan. So,
and you grew up here in Kansas City then? I
did, yeah. I was born in North Kansas City Hospital.
Northland area.
Yeah. Gladstone area, and then just went through school through Liberty.
Okay.
Yeah. Grandparents are from Liberty as well. So
nice.
Yeah. Both sets.
So what kind of music were you listening to growing up, like your early years?
As far back as I can remember is just going to be, Van Halen, especially on my dad's side. There was a lot. I mean, there was stuff like Michael Bublé, and it was a wide range, but Alan Jackson and some of that on with them. And then my mom was always listening to like MC Hammer and Salt and Peppa and hip hop and stuff like that. So I got like both worlds. Yeah. So I definitely grew out of country. I feel like I still can't do it.
Right.
But hard rock and hip hop are they've grown.
Yeah. Even they've had some of these country hip hop mashups here lately, like
I just
Little
can't.
Nas.
No, it's just not my cup of tea. That's all.
Oh man. So you pretty young started gravitating toward hip hop and rap.
Oh yeah. Especially, up into the late 90s and early 2000s, by the time, Eminem was coming out. That was a big deal, all over MTV. So that, and then along with Marilyn Manson around at the same time. And it was just like, these guys are crazy, you know what I mean? And it's controversial, and parents are losing their minds, and, the whole nine, the world's going crazy. So that was really cool. And I, fell into the trap of it all. But, I was always like, oh man, the beats, like, how are they making these, rap, these beats? How is Dr. Dre doing this, because it's different than rock. You've got a drum set, live instruments, and like, okay, well, I understand how it's working, but hip hop, you're just like, where did this come from? How does this work? And then I'd had an older stepbrother who had gotten like Fruity Loop Studio, couldn't figure it out. I'm 10, 11, 12 years old, trying to get in on the software and obviously figured out how does it work and what to do. So by the time I was like,
so young, you're trying to learn how to do the beats.
That's
you're trying
correct.
to lay down beats and stuff like that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I had piano, music theory, that whole nine. But I was definitely like a big drum guy, like it's all about the drum. So I was just trying to come up with those.
How normal is it for a piano guy to end up getting into the beats?
Right. Well, so that's what's funny. I wasn't necessarily a piano guy. I was always like intrigued by it. I wanted a drum set, from Santa every year for Christmas. Like I never got it. So I had to resort to beats,
There you go.
Thank you. But from that point on, I'm in the software and just, almost mimicking, trying to learn, the program, the sequencing, obviously bars and measures as well. So
yeah, help us with let this be rap music 101 or hip hop rap 101 for people. So probably a lot of people listening are used to just country bands, rock bands. You do songs and your band performs the music, but in the rap world, when you're talking about learning how to lay down beats, that's the whole music side of this.
Starts, that's correct.
And you're referring to software. So
correct.
So you're starting to learn software programs.
Digital, correct. Yeah, where it's confusing because there's no real manual unless somebody else has done it and they can show you. But obviously, just as any music, you've got tempos, you've got a set sequence every 4 steps, and so by the time you just learn the timing of it and how to work with the grid of it, then and be able to count bars, and you're able to, okay, now I can help make hopefully I can make something that I can flow that's going to be enjoyable to listen to. That's literally all that it's about. So but by the time I was 15, I made my first original beat, and obviously it wasn't great or spectacular or nothing, but it's definitely a big moment. So
did somebody do a rap to it or something, or
no?
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And I probably made like 50 to 100 beats until somebody, I don't know.
And these are tracks that are how long usually?
Oh yeah. At least probably, 2.5 minutes to 4-ish minutes.
And this is you're laying down drum lines, you're laying down
everything as well.
All kinds of.
And sometimes, with hip hop, it's definitely about, taking old songs, taking samples, just morphing them into something else. It's,
Yeah. How does the beats compare to like what you see DJs doing in live settings where they're mixing?
Well,
what's the difference?
So the DJ, like somebody has already most of the time the DJ, if they've produced it themselves or they're just using, stuff from other producers to basically mix their set, they're putting on music that people are going to like and enjoy. It doesn't necessarily, sometimes like Skrillex and Marshmello, them guys, they produce their own stuff. Diplo produces his own stuff. But not all of them do.
Right.
Actually being like a beat maker or producer is definitely more of a behind the scenes. There are some producers that have put themselves out there, like Arab Music, who will do live shows, bring his MPC and, go through his whole, just start making beats on the spot, which is really cool. But as far as like, mixing rave music or dubstep or more of electronic, hip hop is like, I'm at, wherever, home or on vacation, and I'm on my $150 laptop making a trap beat. That's literally like where a lot of this stuff comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're doing this you've already got 50, 100 of them by the time you're 16.
So no, probably by the time I was 18, I had, about 50 to 100 of them.
Yeah.
There was a couple beats that were recorded too, back by the time I turned 16. So it took about a year or so before somebody, attempted to do something to a beat. But yeah, just from there, I was just working by myself. And I was in baseball as well. So, I was really busy with that all through school, college ball. So
yeah, where'd you play college ball? Yeah, we talked about this.
I played at Maple Woods Community College. Yeah. I thought I was going to get drafted out of high school, but didn't happen. So I gave Maple a couple of years.
I think I'd mentioned I had a nephew that played for a junior, a community college up in Iowa, one of those baseball schools in Iowa that like is a 2-year school, but then he transferred to Missouri Western and finished up there.
Nice. Yeah.
But he was at Excelsior back, gosh, I don't know if he's older or younger than you. He's probably,
I'm 91 baby. So
yeah. Well, you guys are close. Yeah. Close in age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spencer Shockley.
I've heard of his, heard his name. But yeah, I never really I didn't want to go to college to begin with. Like I didn't want to go to, JUCO. I wanted to just get drafted and,
play baseball,
go to the minors and work my way up and play ball. Yeah. I had broken a couple records senior year, so it's like, those guys made it to AAA. I'm like, hey, I'm getting a phone call, when's it coming in?
What was your position?
So, I pitched, but they wanted me for my arm and speed. So it was outfield and third base.
Okay.
Those are my other main positions. Yeah. I hit 91 and so I could throw a little bit, but
yeah.
So good stuff. I just never was like, okay, I'm going to go to university and go through this and do that. So,
but you're still involved in the music scene?
Correct.
All this time.
Just there were people that were always looking for beats, and they were trying, who did that, and so I'd meet this guy who know this guy that did music, and it was just random, sporadic here and there. One thing led to another, and JL actually contacted me. I was a senior, just graduated from high school, about wanting a beat, and he put Ces Cru on the song, and then years later Tech Nine signed him, and so that was awesome to be able to work with them, damn near out the gate,
Yeah, and is this before you started working at Chapman Studios?
Yeah, this is. Okay. Yes, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, so for some of my audiences, listen, they know Matt Cox because he's been working with me for a while. Matt did videos back for JL and Ces Cru.
Oh wow, yeah,
over 10 years ago, and for the a lot of my audience, of course, almost everybody's heard of Tech Nine.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But like JL is another really well-known, strong rapper here and solid rapper here, and same with Ces Cru.
Yeah.
And both of them signed with Tech Nine's music company. Is that right?
2012. Yeah.
They signed with, which is Strange.
Yeah.
Music.
Strange Music. Yeah. Yeah. I was there throughout their first 2 albums throughout that process, up in Chapman. So that was cool. We were there almost all day.
Yeah. So how did you get hooked up with Chapman Studio?
Yeah. I mean, just going up there with, the first time I'd been up there, I think was with JL with them. I went up there with them, and just
where was
being
it
there.
Where was it located when you were working there?
So it was in Lenexa, Monrovia.
Yeah, but I think
Wickedness coming from Monrovia.
Yeah, before that, weren't they at one time located in the River Market area?
They were. Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is I've been in the studio when they were at River Market. I mean, this is going way back.
I know. Well,
yeah.
when did they start? 56?
I don't even know, man. But I mean, I've been in that studio at the River Market location multiple times.
Oh, nice.
With several different people, and just watched. I wasn't doing anything. I was just watching. But fun to see those kind of things in action.
Yeah. So just being up at Chapman like that consecutively, I mean, you spend a lot of time with the engineers and stuff. So, Ben and Rob, it was awesome, just getting to know those guys, and Neil and George and, Chuck. I spent a lot of time just talking to Chuck, picking his brain as much as possible. So, yeah.
So, Rob Rebeck, I read an article on him that Strange Music put out a couple of years ago. And it was says it's Tech Nine's music group, and he's got a website, and they wrote an article on Rob Rebeck, and they were saying, they were kind of like saying, hey, the mastermind behind some of this stuff early on was Rob Rebeck. Is kind of what the article was saying.
Yeah, he's a wizard, that's for sure. Yeah, he taught me almost just about everything that I know about engineering and stuff. So being a beat maker, which is just making the music in the background, but engineering and being an actual record producer is being able to record somebody, help them record, know what you need from them. You're using your ear. Hey, I need you to do another one, higher octave, lower octave, really telling them what to do, and then being able to mix the vocals down and master it from there. Yeah, it's not easy, but there's a lot of technique that goes into it. So I definitely feel like, I got Rob's, some of his magic as well. I just had to run with it and do my thing.
It's cool. So you're in the hip hop world, or rap world, your engineer basically does your, does the recording and the editing. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then your producers actually work with the artist who's recording. They also work with the beats.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And the producer might not always be the person that does the beats.
Correct. Yeah.
So it might be a go between.
As a producer as well, you can come in and just basically assist on the song in some way, shape, or form, and get that production credit of it. So a producer has a wide range as far as what it means, but it does mean that you're involved with more than just actually making the music to the song. It can writing or author credit, vocals wise is different. I'm just talking about there's two sides of music. You've got just the production, the music side, there's no vocals involved, and then you've got the actual recorded vocals, and then who's writing those. So that's how music is sliced. And that's why bands are not as common as you see, because you've got 5 people over here splitting production and 1 singer. Yeah,
in the rap hip hop world.
That's in the rock world. That's why you're not seeing rock bands, these big bands doing stuff anymore, is because of the royalty splits. I mean,
it gets crazy.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. But it's got to be a little bit crazy in in the hip hop rap world too, though, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it just, obviously the less amount of people, the more in-house you can be with things, the more in control of, your destiny that you can be. If an artist has a bunch of beats from producers and they haven't paid for, you know what I mean? Something's going to come back. But if they have a guy that's in-house working with them, they have their own deal situation going, then they're going to have a lot smoother of a process, during their career.
I would say that the contracts that come into play with musicians and writers and all the things you just named, not only in the rock world, but in your world too, are some of the most complex contracts I've ever seen. You've got lawyers who just specialize in music contracts. It's crazy.
It's awful.
The splits and this and that and the other and royalties and who gets what and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I had a television deal with MTV, E Network, and Oxygen. And I mean, there's people making, you're not going to make any money unless people are making money off of you. I mean, it's just, and they didn't even do anything, but they're the ones that are putting it together. And you're just like, so 100% is 0-0, but, all right. But it's wild. The only reason anybody will ever help you in music is if they are going to be making money off of you. If their hand is in your pocket, that is it. Yep.
That's it. Well, who did you, when you're working with these guys at Chapman, who were some of the people you started working with? You've named Ces Cru, and JL. Yeah,
so I was mainly up there, with them and producing them throughout their album process. I was also up there working with Jesus Divine at the time. We were in the middle of his album as well. So at that time I wasn't engineering. We went to Rob. We were working with Rob on a lot of his solo music. So it was JL and Jesus that after Ces Cru's albums got done and were sent off for mastering and everything, we went into Brain Scatter 2 and Faith Under Fire, and then my debut EP White Magic back in Brain Scatter 2 came out 2014, then Faith Under Fire, White Magic 2015.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So where do people get some of your stuff?
Goodness. I mean, Apple Music, Spotify.
What do they look up?
SoundCloud.
If they go to Apple Music.
You can go to Smartalec on the track, Subliminal Beats, Subliminal Music Group, and you'll find all the other artists. It's not just me. So there's Hurricane and King Kihei, Jesus Divine, Nicolette Page, Marcus Patrick, Six Lungs. So
these are all with Sublime.
Yeah, with Subliminal Music Group.
Yeah,
correct.
Subliminal Music Group is your music group.
Yep. SMG, Self-Made Gang. Yep.
Okay.
He's like, okay.
That's cool. And you also did some work down in Atlanta. Is that right?
Yes, I did. Jesus and I actually went down there to work and record his second album, The Flood. And so we first went down there in 2016. We went to Patchwork Recording. Everybody from Young Jeezy to Ludacris, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole have recorded albums there. Yeah, we passed John Legend, on the way in, and Young Thug was coming in as we were leaving at night, but it's a ginormous facility. They took a like a house on the corner of downtown and just gated it and built 2 different big studio suites, in there, and it's pretty wild, honestly. But I went down there. One guy who's actually signed with Free Bands, which is Future, Stilo Steezy. We linked up with him, and I was able to work with Millie Golightly, who is also a singer. She's won some plaques with doing some work with Young Thug and YSL.
And this Millie Golightly, she's is she from London?
I honestly don't know. I think so. I just know that she's like grown up and is in the Atlanta.
She wasn't in the hip hop rap world, was she?
No, she was doing like, just more country type folk type music. Yeah.
I think she's a British artist, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I think she is. and she ended up hooking up.
Yeah, being in Atlanta will do that to you, though. That's it just turns you into this, like, I don't know, I can't explain it. You just have to go and live in it for a little bit, and then you're like, all right, I understand.
It's so wild, you know. Atlanta has, they
like brainwash you. It will just, your brain will just be like, what is going on? Like, yeah, why do I like this music so much?
I was in rehab in Georgia for 120 days, wow. Like in late November 2018 through early 2019. And I was in there with quite a few younger people, like, in their 20s, mm-hmm. that were totally lived that world. And it was actually fascinating because I learned a whole lot. I just listened to stories all day long. Man. Yeah. And it's some crazy.
It's a fast city. There's a lot of people, a lot of things happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of your goals with Subliminal Music?
Man, honestly, like, it's about the artists, and we're just trying to get good authentic music pushed out and promoted into as many people as possible. We got distribution from Universal in January 2020, and they started to roll out some singles top of the year, and we had a single that was, I think it was going almost through June, so it almost lasted a good 6 months. As of right now, I don't have like a...
Which single is it?
It's actually called Sober by Don Drizzy featuring Tay Malay. And there's a couple of others that they put on the radio that were on for a few months as well. I don't have like a radio agency. You have to hire a company to like track, your current active live radio spins. So I don't really know what's going on. You get, royalties 9 months later from radio. So everything that was played first quarter will come in like September. Mm-hmm. So until that happens, I don't know exactly, but I do know enough that there's been, tweets and things and enough proof out there that, mm-hmm. I've gotten the emails from the label that, hey, these are the cities we're pumping them in. Yeah. So.
And are you doing, on these artists that you just mm-hmm. named that are signed with Subliminal, are you doing most of the producing and the beats on all those acts? Yeah. So I'm producing almost everything. Jesus produces with me. Rob Rebeck will produce some songs with me, do guitar on there as well. And then Doug Hickson is another, long friend that does guitar and that will play electric guitar on a lot of the songs. But I'm doing, I would say, at least half of everything that comes out under us. Now, this is the thing, is that these artists, they do have like complete freedom as far as who to work with, who they can work with, who they can't work with. So they're not locked in to us or to the label. If they want to come over here and, do an album under this umbrella, it's like, here's what it is. You still own your vocals. You own your own publishing. We're not taking any, percentages away. Okay. So 100% of all of the music income that Subliminal Music Group basically is releasing, like, let's say it releases a song that you and I do, it generates $100. That $50 goes to you and I. The label doesn't actually get anything. So the label's a brand that's like, it's, merchandise and other things like that is how the income is mm-hmm. is generated. It's really just the sister company of Subliminal Beats, and it's just giving artists that ability to, hey, come in, let's do a project. I obviously have to want to do it as well. There's no contract saying I have to do anything, so at any time I can be like, yeah, no, I'm done, I'm good, but obviously it's just that open door, like, that nobody's forced to be working with me. I'm not forced to be working with anybody else. So it's a good camaraderie as far as, I have a kid in high school that I've been working with, developing artists literally, from nothing, mm-hmm. To, guys that have been doing this, that I've had 3 albums, Yeah. They can get an album done whenever, and it's easy. Yeah. Talk about the development side. I'm curious about that. How do you find a new young artist, do they find you?
It sounds crazy, but really just it'll happen. It's like, I'm not looking for new artists, but it's not that I'm not looking for a new artist. It's just, it's got to be the right situation. Like, you know, I'll work with artists a little bit, you know, yeah, come record a song with me. We'll see how we, you know, are as friends, you know what I'm saying, on a level like that. Cause if we're just not on the same wavelength, then it's just not really going to
like
blossom.
You have people sending you beats randomly or?
No, I don't have people that send me beats randomly. I've got people that send me their songs, you know, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's like, I don't know you. I don't know you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't know exactly. So there are some people that there are some artists that I have found, like on SoundCloud, Audio Mac, that I've, you know, like discovered on there, that I've contacted, like, hey, I would like to work with you. Let me know what you want to do. You know, I'll send you some tracks over and just talk like that.
Yeah.
Steven Jalen's he's a new guy that I've worked with out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So I found him like that. I mean, I knew about Millie just because of Young Thug, and that's how I had, you know, me and her had gotten linked up. And yeah, it's, you know, one guy I met while I was working somewhere. I had to go work and hold down a job for a little bit, met him there, you know. So it's like, I mean, really just anywhere. It's not really distinct, like, oh, this is how I do this. Yeah.
Well, tell me, like, so I have found that, you know, first of all, I think music is spiritual in general. When I think about spiritual or spirituality, I think about connecting to self, connecting to others, and connecting to something greater than us. Yeah. Whatever you might, however you might talk about that. Like in the recovery world, people talk about higher power. Yeah. But, so it's so fascinating to me because, first of all, music, I think, is spiritual. I think the creative process comes from somewhere. And having musical chemistry in that realm it's tough, because sometimes you just don't, you don't know if, you and another, if you're not on a certain wavelength with an artist, like, it's like, I just can't work with you for whatever reason. I can't work with you. Like, I don't know why, but I just, something's not right. Yes. But, as far as like the spiritual aspect of it all, it's, I don't know, music is a way to, get out what you're going through. I mean, and it's weird. I know I'm like that though, even though it's just with beats. I've done vocals on songs, but I'm not singing my heart out or anything like that, but I definitely do put, myself into about every single beat that I'm making in some way, shape, or form. There's something from me in that, you know what I mean? A part of me in that. So, and you're working with something that is metaphysical. You cannot touch it, can't be killed. Music is definitely infinite and will continue to be here. So it's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
It's out there.
I know.
Floating around in space, we were just talking, bouncing off satellites.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about it. Like, you listen to an old song that was from, the 90s or whatever, and it is capturing that time in a bottle. And you're like, that's crazy, but then they'll come out with remastered stuff to make it sound better. And you're like, oh God, whatever.
But then you hear it and, it'll take you back to a moment or a time or that's a space or a memory, or you can even get a whole emotional feeling based on it that, Yeah. And it moves you. I mean, sometimes, like, when you are going through it, you don't want to listen to the most positive music, happy music. Right. That is normal. Why would you want to do that? Why would I want to do that? That's not what I feel like, so there's music, there's something there, like, almost for anything that you're going through. Definitely right. So I don't know if you're comfortable talking about your own spiritual journey and how that has maybe played out in your life and in your music. I mean, how does that, I don't know if that's too broad or not. What's your spiritual background? And did you have any growing up?
I mean, we're just kind of like, traditional Christian. We weren't heavy into church. Nobody in the family was. we would go for like Easter and Christmas some years. My grandmother was definitely a lot more, hey, Bible and, what's right and what's not. And so she taught me a lot. And, I always definitely believed in, just love in general and a higher power. But never really being like, okay, but, what is the actual truth, in fact? So kind of you go on, I've been on that search for like what the truth was and stripped down and what it is. I mean, I can't tell you that I've figured anything out, but it's the ups and downs of it. But also, like I was, how it goes into music, I was listening to a lot of, Eminem and Marilyn Manson and Limp Bizkit. And I had a stepmom that, wanted to take that away and, take me to church and, was very concerned, and it just backfired. So, I mean, it just made it worse. But no, I didn't really reject or rebuke, God or Jesus ever. It's been, a fight, if you will. There's definitely been a lot of, tests of faith in general, but I feel like at the same time, you always have to keep hope alive, for tomorrow. And like, it's an inner job. It's nothing exterior that you need to do. It's just the inner work. So
you mentioned earlier off air when we were talking that some of your music, some of your beats is kind of working out like a shadow self.
Yeah.
And
like
that kind of
only those who have actually gone through, some pretty dark times and like seen the darkness and been in it are only really able to, I feel like, do that. To other people that don't understand it, everything from, what I'm referring to is, darker music, what some may call lower vibrational, but it's like at the end of the day, there's just that it's there. It's the balance. You can either work with it or just try to avoid it and act like it's not there, whatever you want to do, but when you work with it and inside of the dark like that, you're able to get out, it's like it's no longer in you anymore. It's just transferred into this song or this beat, if you will. And I've actually done, most of my shadow work with Hurricane. He's done some serial killer albums and the whole nine. It's not like, I am an advocate for a serial killer that he is, but you go through, things in life where you're like, I just want to, I don't know. It's just, it's a way to just like deal with you're not hurting anybody, it's like making a horror movie. Like, is it the best thing you can do in your life is go make a gory horror movie? Like, no, but so it's entertainment. It's art. Like, I don't know.
So this is a funny thing. I mean, even all the years I was a pastor, I've always had an attraction to some of the classic Gothic stuff, like
right, yeah,
like Dracula, Frankenstein. It's always been an analogy to me to like, here's a person who's so narcissistic they want to suck the life out of everybody to live, and
too real,
and I'm thinking of like, why if I'm depressed do I want to lay there and watch Criminal Minds for it's like they chase down serial killer. I've serial killers have fascinated me. There's been several from Kansas City, and I even had a run-in early on with one named Gregory Breeden, who was living in Riverside, and had girls living with him that would try to rip off churches from their charity money, kind of stuff, because they had some scams going on.
Oh no!
But he was the one that was. Anyway, he's in prison now. And
interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, there's been some. But I've always there's always kind of an interest in sort of these dark, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've got all those classic books up in my library, and then they get retold and remixed. And one of the things I just watched recently was a series called Penny Dreadful.
Okay. Never heard of it.
Yeah. It mashes up, like you take music and mash it up. It mashes up all the classic Gothic. It's got Frankenstein, and it's got Dracula, and it's got Dr. Jekyll, and it's got Dorian Gray, and it's got all these classic horror figures.
Yeah, Jason and Michael Myers, and it's all.
Yeah, so you work out your dark side. You deal with
music,
your dark side,
through music.
Your shadow side with music.
It's a whole different kind of identity in a way, because you're like, God, wow, that was me. Wow, all right. I mean, but you're not like, hurting anybody or nothing like that. But you're like, like I'll go back and listen to, something. I'll be like, oh. Yeah. When you step out of it and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, all right. It's just, it is what it is. And
it's interesting too, because I think sometimes, like, I've been in the recovery world for a couple of years. And the thing I've loved about it is that you bump into people who have lived the craziest lives you can imagine, but they get in there and they get brutally honest about all of their shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's just refreshing because they're just out there with it. They've dealt with it. They're out there with it.
It's that weight lifted.
This is where I've been. This is what I thought. This is what I did. Blah. It's just all out there. They're not trying to hide it. And you're just going, dang, that's awesome. I know,
but everybody's looking at themselves like, you did that, what?
But it's been really refreshing.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, sometimes in the church world, if you think about it, a lot of times people put on their best when they go to church. They try to look their best. They try to cover up their bad spots and their dark spots and their dark side and all those kind of things. And I don't think that does us really well. Good. And I don't think it really creates true spirituality.
No, not at all. No, you got to be honest with yourself and honest with, I mean, if there is, if there's someone who is speaking to people in that way, like, they've got to be honest as well, because, it's hard to find somebody that is perfect to be able to say what perfect is, No, we're all imperfect. So you got to be okay with that. Like, once you accept that and you're like, hey, it is what it is, and I am what I am right now. But, you got to change and you got to grow with it. And, if it is a higher power, like I know we talk a lot about dark stuff, but I mean, in a way it's all of like one and the same. And, who's to say that, blood and stuff is satanic, and why is, what I'm saying? These things depict something bad or evil or sinister, and the light of it all is like that. I just feel like it's there. You have to acknowledge it, or else that's just gonna eat you alive. Like, and it's like no different than going through something, when you were young, little. You try to, suppress it, and then it just ends up running your entire life. And why is that? How does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's just like, the subconscious mind is in control of like 90% of like what's happening. And
I think when and I used to, if I had negative emotions, negative feelings, negative thoughts, always just tried to suppress it. Basically is what I tried to do for the longest time, and it in the long run it didn't work, right? And so and I was pretty self-disciplined, so I managed it for a long time. But what I've had to do recently is really be brutally honest with all of that stuff, all of the dark side, all of this shadow self that I kind of didn't really want people to see, right? But so now I just like, okay, now it's out there. So,
no, I know. And you feel, and you're liberated in a way from, it's like, it's not me. Do you know what I mean? Like, that, like, this isn't me. It's just, I can't really, it's hard to speak for yourself because you're not the same person. You know what I mean? Like, And yeah, it's nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about that. They just no. Let's just talk about all the fluff, you know.
Right.
But that's it's tough. Is how do you deal? You know, how does everybody? You know, and it's tough to just turn around and be like, okay, yeah, let me just turn to God, and everything will be okay. Like you can't just turn around and tell somebody that, you know. So
yeah. In the process, we find others that we connect with authentically. And I do think there's a higher power that's there to connect with, but it's not like a genie in the bottle.
I know. And I feel like, you know, God definitely can come through and act through people, you know what I mean, as well, number one, and obviously like your surroundings and the earth, nature and stuff. So, you know, if anybody's in a dark place, I'd be like, yo, just go take a walk out in the woods or something, like just then come back and just, you know, reset. Like you've got to connect back to like almost like, you know, where you're at, get out of the matrix, because the matrix will like, it'll close in on you, the walls. And you got to unplug sometimes and know what it is and get out of it and go connect back to, you know, we're all just in the wild. There's no church in the wild either. Yeah. So
into the wild.
Yeah. I mean,
I've always loved nature. I've been a big nature guy. So, well, cool. So tell us some of your new projects that you're on.
Oh yeah. So new project is called New Levels, New Devils. 'Cause it's just like every time, you know, you get to a new spot, new level, there's going to be a new adversary. And it's just like, it's the only way to know that you're on the right path is that there is some adversary coming at you. So it's just like video games, you know, you got to go through every level and you got to come across the enemy, you know, and then you can't go straight to the very end and face the final one yet. You got to, you know, so
I like that.
Yeah. The project is, you got to listen to it at night. It's going to be October 20th, full moon. So
that's when you come out.
That's when it's dropping. Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm going to have, let's see, Liz Suwandi's featured on there. I got Ubiquitous, Gothic, so Ces Cru, but they're going to be on separate songs.
Is Ubiquitous Kansas City based?
He is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So is Gothic. And then I don't know if JL's going to get on it or not. Stevie Stone is supposed to, Recognize is supposed to. Hurricane, King Kihei, Jesus Divine, Nicolette Page, Twisted Insane, CG Benji, Don Drizzy, they're going to be on there. Stephen Jalen, Triz.
This is going to be a full album?
Yeah, it's going to be a full-length album. Yep.
Okay.
It's just like, I do so much music, you know, especially with the label mates, that I'm just putting together these collabo albums in the process, you know, and just helping cross-market everybody, you know, and putting together just dope records. Like, that's really all that it's about. I'm not really concerned with, what the numbers are going to be like or how well it's going to do. I mean, I do want, you know, to do as well as possible, but I know what's being put into it, so I'm not as concerned with the reception. You know, whoever's waiting for it, they're gonna love it, and then whoever else jumps on board, cool. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Cain and Abel, which is obviously the spiritual base, as you know. Jesus, Divine, and Hurricane, they have the collabo album that's coming out this December, I would say.
And that's called
Cain and Abel. Yeah,
is the album title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hurricane, Cain is the evil one, and Jesus is the, you know, light worker, if you will. But they both rap fast. It's very aggressive, some hardcore content, some very emotional content on there as well already. So yeah, I think it's going to be them two projects, you know, this winter are going to be big splashes, big deals, you know, in our world. So
cool. You know, I was working on a PhD in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay.
And so this Cain and Abel story
is
that is retold in the Hebrew Bible itself in a book called Ecclesiastes. I don't know if you ever heard that name or not.
No,
but
I haven't.
It's one of the books in the Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible. And it's basically an extended commentary on the Cain and Abel story.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's one of my favorite books in the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew name for it is Kohelet, and it means an assembly. Cain literally means to acquire by force.
Correct.
And then Abel is this Hebrew word hevel, which means breath.
Interesting.
And so when Cain kills Abel, it extinguishes. So he extinguishes his breath. Well, the author of this book in the Hebrew Bible takes this idea of Cain trying to acquire through possessions, through money, through wealth, through women, through wine, through building projects, through all of this stuff, and tries to figure out life by acquiring. And in every situation, he finds out it's breath, it's hevel, it's Abel. It's like there and then gone. His life is extinguished, but not always necessarily a negative thing, because it can be like something that's a really cool moment, but then it's gone. It's not permanent. It's like vapor.
Wow.
So it's like it's like Cain and vapor. That's Cain weird. And Abel.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so anytime I get off on Cain and Abel, I because I'd spent so much time in that stuff, and kind of fun. So I'll look forward to hearing that.
Oh that's these are going to be definitely spiritual, but there's going to be that spiritual element of it all. Definitely. It's interesting though, seeing them come together and do something like that. It's the light and the dark all, coming in as one. So it's funny to see.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was listening to Hypnotized.
Okay.
I'd love to play one of your beats or like to put it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So one in particular that you think we should put on here, or I can
play the one. I have a song that's coming out August 22nd. I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that one?
It's called Charge It to the Game. Me and Steven Jalen. He's the main artist on the song, and then Triz and Hurricane are actually on the verses of it. Triz is from California. Hurricane is from Kansas City, Kansas, but he's up in British Columbia, Canada.
Okay.
Yep. And then Steven's Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's title one more time.
Charge It to the Game.
Charge It to the Game.
That's correct.
All right. We're gonna put that on here for everybody to listen to.
All right. Cool.
Excellent. Well, man, thanks for joining us on Spirituality Adventures. So people can get your stuff through Subliminal Music.
subliminalmusicgroup.com, and then smartaleconthetrack.com, subliminalbeats.com, Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm everywhere.
And when they go in there, they want to put in Smartalec.
Smartalec on the track is going to bring my actual stuff up.
If they put in Subliminal Music, it won't.
Subliminal Music Group, yes.
Like in Spotify, it'll come up too.
Not in Subliminal, no, not in Spotify. Same thing. Smartalec on the track, and then the artists, the label mates they should pop up, so they'll be able to go to their profiles from there if they like them. Yeah,
awesome.
I appreciate you having me, and
excellent. Well, thank you, Alec, for doing this, and I know I appreciate our friend Derrison.
I know. Yeah.
King Kihei.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad he's working with you.
Yeah. Great guy, man.
Do some of your people do live events, like where they're performing live?
Yeah. Yeah. We actually had a label show prior to COVID hitting. Almost 29? Almost 29. I think it was late 2018. Yeah, we had a label show. So it's been weird.
Where did you do that at?
The Bat Cave downtown, Southwest Boulevard.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm actually I want to get one set up here pretty soon. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Interesting. All right.
I had a good turnout on it, so maybe we'll do Uptown this time.
That'd be cool.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to stay tuned to that.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Spirituality Adventures. We'll see you next time.
I work through the dark like a night shift. Everybody here on my plate trying to bite shit. Yeah, I go low, make a bad, did it right quick. Yeah, get hotter in the wild like bison. I'm really having hits, Tyson. I can see you sneak this and now we ain't fighting. Know what that mean, little shawty brought the pipe in. 3 months in and I done went and got a light tint. I done hit triangle, went and got a light drip. Now I'm in the A getting side, a quick trip. Then came back and got it off, was a quick trip. I can show the buddy how to ball, this a quick flip. Yes, I'm a pro, then I stay on kick flip. I got honey mustard and blue cheap, but no deal. My dollars Nevada like Vegas, got blue strip. Broke, then the nigga got woke like King Chip. I'm smoking cushion and cold. I tell my family I'm never gon' fold. I sacrifice the game, I hope it gets sold. You pay the price and if your little homie told. You saying you low but you broadcast. I put a henchman in high fast. We do moonwalking like Mike Jets. I swear to God I'm a real bad. I move like the gangsters to Tivoli. I'm cool like the mob out in Sicily. I remember they tried to belittle me, and then it got grown, literally. Shit came up from my zone, yeah, a little green. All this work I put in, I call little Z. Had to manage for nothing, call little sleep. Shit 250 a day, get 100 G. I work through the dark like a night shift. Everybody here on my plate trying to bite shit. Yeah, I go low, make a bad, did it right quick. Yeah, get hotter in the wild like bison. I'm really having hits, Tyson. I can see you sneak this and now he ain't fighting. Know what that mean, little shawty brought the pipe in. 3 months in and I done went and got a light tint. I done hit triangle, went and got a light drip. Now I'm in the A getting side, quick trip. Then came back and got it off, was a quick trip. I can show the buddy how to ball, this a quick flip. Yes, I'm a pro, then I stay on kick flip. I got honey mustard and blue cheap, but no deal. My dollars Nevada like Vegas, got blue strip. Then the nigga got work like King Chip.
Hey, what you doing? I already did that. If they get me, I'm getting my get back. I mean it, I'm getting my shit back. You niggas is bitching, don't hit back. I'm smooth like a pimp named Slickback. She blow up my phone, I don't hit back. Bitches is quick to come sit on this dick. I be killing the clit and I lick that. I need me a bag where to lick at. Fast talk, no time for the chit chat. I'm already this shit and I've been that. You can't do it like me, niggas sit back. You niggas can't rap and you been whack. I be whipping and tripping up in that. In a minute, a verse is like 10 stacks. That's 100 if niggas want 10 tracks.
I work through the dark like a night shift. Everybody here on my plate trying to bite shit. Yeah, I go low, make a bad, did it right quick. Yeah, get hotter in the wild like bison. I'm really having hits, Tyson. I can see you sneak this and now he ain't fighting. Know what that mean, little shawty brought the pipe in. 3 months in and I done went and got a light tint. I done hit triangle, went and got a light drip. Now I'm in the A getting side, quick trip. Then came back and got it off, was a quick trip. I can show the buddy how to ball, this a quick flip. Yes, I'm a pro, then I stay on kick flip. I got honey mustard and blue cheap. My dollars Nevada like Vegas, got blue strip. Broke in the nigga got woke like King Chip.
Been about the hustle since day one. Back when a nigga used to run with the spray guns. Share chips with the homies, nigga take one. Next thing you know, the whole motherfucking day done. Bros gone and the sun went down and the freaks come out and the foes come around and the hoes wanna choose, so you make them go down and you hit the OG for another whole pound. Like back to these streets with these old tricks. Like homie said, I do a kickflip. Call me Black Tony Hawk of this ice shit. I was praying on them niggas' vices. Never slipping, was strapped up like ISIS. Had them bundles at all different prices. With them heads, what it do for that pipe hit. 20 bands in the night, it was righteous.
I work through the dark like a night shift. Everybody here on my plate trying to bite shit. Yeah, I go low, make a bad, did it right quick. Yeah, get hotter in the wild like bison. I'm really having hits, Tyson. I can see you sneak this and now he ain't fighting. Know what that mean, little shawty brought the pipe in. 3 months in and I done went and got a light tint. I done hit triangle, went and got a light drip. Now I'm in the A getting side, quick trip. Then came back and got it off, was a quick trip. I can show the buddy how to ball, this a quick flip. Yes, I'm a pro, then I stay on kick flip. I got honey mustard and blue cheap, but no deal. My dollars Nevada like Vegas, got blue strip. Broke, then the nigga got woke like King Chip.
But there's a new devil, there is a new level. But now is not the time to be discouraged. We as disciples of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we must in the face of every devil, in the face of every challenge, in the face of every obstacle, in the face of every enemy, in the face of every internal, external conflict, we've got a job to do.
This concludes today's episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, or subscribe to the social media platform that you're using. And then Go to our website, spiritualityadventures.com, and make a one-time donation, or you can subscribe monthly and receive our special bonus content. Thanks so much.